could you? How could you, Jack?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Cut! That was horrible! Who wrote the script?
Welcome to the movie show! Active FM.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yes.
I mean, everybody.
Yeah,
That
everybody.
has buddies.
Everybody.
If you have a buddy, I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Or if you don't have a buddy. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Welcome to another exciting episode
Yes.
of Active FM, the movie show.
With
Ryan,
And
Sash.
full stop.
So it's Ryan, Ryan with the Ryan in the movie show. Wait.
Wow.
I've got this. You know, you mix names up, right? So it's like, this is the Ryan show with Sash and movie.
And I like that. No, wait. No, it's fine. We can go with it.
Okay, it's the movie show with Sash and Ryan.
Yes.
On Active FM.
Only on Active FM.
Yes.
And today, I am so excited for the show that we're about to do.
So can I just say, Sashi was like, Ryan, you have to see this movie. And I was like, okay, all right, she's really excited. She really loves this movie. All right, let's go check it out. And I watched it. And then I was like, wow, it's a good movie. You probably haven't heard of this movie, or perhaps you have. Well, we are officially the marketing department for
The King.
The King.
Yes.
It is a Netflix
Original.
movie.
Can
Is
you
it,
believe
is it? Original?
It's a Netflix
It's a
original.
Netflix original. If you haven't seen it, you are missing out. In fact, where would we be if we had not seen this movie?
Okay, hold up right there. If you have not watched this movie, I am telling you to go and watch this movie. Normally we suggest, you should go watch. No, you have to watch this movie. If you die not watching this movie, you did not live to your full potential. Full stop.
That is a direct order.
Yes, it is a direct order from the movie show. You have to watch this film. So let me tell you how I found the film, right? Because I only found out about it recently. And even when I started watching it, I didn't know what I was in for. So because of Little Woman, who one of the actors in Little Woman is Timothée Chalamet. He's a French actor. He played Laurie. So I went on a search of looking in what other movies he's acted in and what other movies Saoirse Ronan acted in. And this movie, The King, came up. So he acts in this movie as well. And then I was like, okay, let me watch it because he's in it. So I started watching it. And as I was watching it, I was like, oh no, this thing. First of all, it was a Netflix original. So I was like, oh no, because you all know how I feel about Netflix originals. They suck because normally something wrong happens in them and the storyline just ends and you're like, what was the point of that movie? It wasted my life. But with this film, it was so I watched it and then I was nervous because I was like, what is going to happen? But by the end of the film, I was like, I am so happy. I am so happy I watched this movie. You know when you're like, this... You know when you get to the end of a movie and you're like, now that is a movie. That is, yeah, it's brilliant. I feel like I've been this film's marketing department.
Yes, definitely.
Because I've told everyone to watch it.
She even took photos of
Yep.
where we could get it, and she circled it. She's
Yep.
like, there it is. That's what it looks like. Go get it.
But at first, because I sent Ryan a message while I was watching it to say, I'm watching this film. I don't know if it's going to be good, but maybe we can do it for the movie show. Then when I got to the end of it, I sent him another message. I was like, Ryan, please can we do this for the movie show? You have to watch it. It's freaking awesome. So, yes, this movie was amazing.
And then we watched it. I generally enjoyed it. In fact, my experience was quite an adventure ride. I did not watch the trailer before this. I
Yes,
watched
we
it
did.
afterwards, and I'm glad
serious?
because the end part, I suppose it doesn't really reveal. Have you seen the trailer?
I didn't watch the trailer, no.
Go check. Go.
Check it out.
Don't go check the trailer yet. Watch the movie.
Yeah, watch the movie.
Because I've discovered a really cool experience, and that is if you go watch a movie not even having a clue.
Yes.
Obviously, you look at the cover, okay, drama, action, whatever, sci-fi, whatever. So you know that you can see that there's a guy and he's in a spacesuit, and now it's whatever. So the finer details, the very high level details about it. But you don't know where the story is going. You don't even know who's it about and what's going to happen. And you watch the movie, and it's like literally like watching not watching a movie for the first time, because that's what you do. But it's like listening to a story. You know when someone starts with a story and they're like, once upon a time in a woods long, long ago, you're like, ooh, and you're like intrigued. Yeah, that's how you feel. But if you watch a trailer, you're like, okay, I know there's this king and this is what happens. And then at the end, woman, and she confronts him. She's like, "Oh, so do you feel victorious? Whatever, blah blah." Blah. And that's what happened. And that's what you're expecting.
But none of
Yes.
us were expecting that because we didn't watch the trailer.
I call it the Ryan movie watching experience. Yes, I'm trademarking it right now.
Yes.
It's called the Ryan movie watching experience. RMWE. Yes.
But the for me, I loved the storyline because it wasn't predictable at all. Like, you didn't know where it was going to go. Like, even
No.
at the end, like, you were like, oh, okay, yay, woo! And then something happened and you're like, wow, sure. But can I just say, so this movie, just to give you a little bit of background, was based on the life of King Henry V, which was, he lived in the 1400s, which is a long time ago. So it's ages, medieval times, yeah. So it's based on his life. Now, Shakespeare actually wrote a whole lot of plays on King Henry V. He did like King Henry, I think it was King Henry V Part 1, King Henry the Fourth Part 1, then King Henry the Fourth Part 2, and then King Henry V. Now, this film was actually based on Shakespeare's version of King Henry V. So it's not necessarily, it is a historical drama, but they didn't base it on the true life events. They based it on Shakespeare's almost version of because he obviously did a whole lot of plays. And interestingly enough, the writer is a guy named Joel Edgerton, and he acted in the film as well. But for him, when he was a young actor, he acted in a lot of plays, specifically from Shakespeare, being King Henry V. So for him, this was kind of like a passion project that he did, and then so that's what the movie's based on. But it is brilliant. It is the storyline is amazing. It's like it's one of those where you're like, that was a good story. I'm glad I watched that story. Yeah.
So actually tell our listener how you watched it in sequences.
Okay, so I started the film, and then I watched. Where did I watch till? I watched to a point, and in the beginning of the movie, it is I think slowish is the right term, but it's not boring. It's just, they setting up the scene, and they basically they're giving you all the background for like the critical part of the story. So at first I was like, okay. Then I stopped watching it, and it was the morning, so I stopped watching it like the day. And I still said to my mom, I'm watching this movie, but I'm scared it ends badly because it's a Netflix film. And I still said to her, if it ends badly, I'll just tell you what happened. If it ends good, then let's watch it. So that evening I then finished it. I went to, not even thinking like I was intrigued though during the day. Like, when you keep thinking back to it, like you keep going, oh yeah, I actually want to find out what happens. That was me during the day. And then in the evening when I watched it, it literally just got better and better and better and better. And eventually I was just like, I even laughed by myself out loud.
Serious?
Mm-hmm.
Which part did you laugh?
There was a certain person that slipped.
Oh.
I was finished. I'm not going to give it away. I was finished though. I actually laughed.
Yes.
Out loud by myself. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Okay, yes, I remember that. That.
So this film has quite a few well-known actors in it actually. So obviously I've mentioned Timothée Chalamet, who was the main actor. He acts as King Henry V. Then there's Robert Pattinson. If you do not know who that is, he acted in Twilight. He is also the new Batman. Ta-da! Yes. Then we have Joel Edgerton, who not only acted in the film, but he also wrote and produced. He was one of the producers, and I enjoyed his character. He actually reminded me of Thor. I felt like he was Thor, because he's actually Australian, so I think it was the whole way he spoke and his accent.
Must be an Australian thing, eh?
Yes, but he did put on a British accent, because it is set in England, so he didn't sound Australian, but he kind of reminded me of Thor. Then Lily Rose Depp, yes, Johnny Depp's daughter acted in this film.
Is in this film.
And then we have Sean Harris. We have Tom Glyn Carney. He acted in Dunkirk. We also have Dean Charles Chapman. He was in 1917. He was the soldier that died. Shame. It was quite sad too. Yeah. But he was in it again. And then we also have Thomasin McKenzie, and she was in Jojo Rabbit. She was the Jew in Jojo Rabbit. Plus, get this. I was shocked when I saw this in the credits. Brad Pitt was one of the producers of this film. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Pitt produced this film. So you have to go watch it, because the cast is amazing. and I was actually watching an interview with Timothy, and he was actually saying that working with Brad is so nice because he's so supportive, and a lot of the actors also said that he's got a reputation for making they termed it nourishing films, which I thought was quite funny because now it's like we are nourished by films. But I think what they were meaning was like you watch a film and there's quality to it. It's not just like oh yeah, that was now okay, whatever. They were just trying to make money or whatever. Like whenever, and I think that is true. Like if you watch a Brad Pitt film, like you kind of can trust it because Brad Pitt's in it. Like that's I think what you can go with. But he was one of the producers, and in an interview apparently he was being interviewed for his film Ad Astra, which we actually have done a review on. But apparently halfway through the interview, he like interrupted the person interviewing him and it was like, well, let's talk about the king. And then he like went on this whole like explanation of the king, and he didn't act in it. So if you're expecting to see Brad Pitt, he's not in it, but he is one of the producers. And yeah, I think for him also it was quite an important project for him. So that's the actors, and then just looking at the box office and the budget. So box office for this film was $23 million and sorry, that was the budget, and then the box office is currently what they've got is $10,000 plus. Now the reason I think that is because, like I said, this is a Netflix original film, which means that it never got released in cinemas, which means it didn't have that big like box office review thing. Although, Ryan, I feel like they didn't market this film well enough. Like I don't think they didn't make it a big deal.
Well, it's such a good film.
Exactly.
And we didn't even know about it. You stumbled upon it.
And the only reason I stumbled upon it was because I was looking through an actor's like, oh, what other movies did they act in? And then because of that, I then found it and then wrote it down and then went through a list and kind of just happened to watch it.
I wonder what their marketing like budget or price is to put something on Netflix.
I don't think, because it's a Netflix original, I don't think it's a lot. And you do see Netflix has started their marketing. Like you drive on highways and stuff and you see big banners with the Umbrella Academy and you see them advertise stuff, but I feel like they advertise the wrong things. Because, like, let's be honest, okay, I don't know about you. I've watched The Umbrella Academy Season 1. I was disappointed. And this is 10 million times better than The Umbrella Academy. And I think they did way more. They put way more money into marketing The Umbrella Academy than they did for this. And that was also last year. It came out last year, and this came out last year. And I mean, if you look at the type of actors that they are, if you look at who produced it, it's big names in film. It's not like small little, do you understand what I'm saying? It's got weight to it, and yet they didn't market it well. And I don't know if that's also maybe what caused the box office to not be that great. Although also I think they can't really count the box office because it is based on Netflix subscriptions, and based on that, then they more get their money in from subscribers than anything, I think, which makes sense. So but just looking at this film did win a lot of awards, and it was nominated for quite a few awards. I'll just mention what it won. So it won for the Australian Academy of Cinema and Television Arts Awards for 2019. It won Best Cinematography. It won Best Supporting Actor. Joel Edgerton got it. It won Best Production Design. The production design was amazing. It also won Best Costume Design. And then it was nominated for quite a few other things. Also in the Films Critics Circle of Australian Awards, it won Best Director. It won Best Screenplay, Original or Adapted. And it won Best Actor Supporting Role again for John Edgerton. And then it was nominated for a whole lot of other awards, and it won the London's Critics Circle Film Awards for Best British/Irish Actor of the Year, and that went to Robert Pattinson. So it did win like quite a few. Do you understand what I'm saying? It like the awards were good, and I know on Rotten Tomatoes at one point it was 77, which is a pretty good rating for a film. So
usually the average is about 60, I think. They average something about 60.
So the thing is, from a filmmaking perspective, it's a brilliant film. But why did it not make as much money as it could have? And for me, I think it's because people don't know about it. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, people need to know about this movie. That's why we're telling you about it.
I guess it's safe to say that's why we are.
Yes.
Guys, The King, yes,
Please go watch it.
go check it out
Go
on
check it out.
Netflix.
Yeah. So just to give you some interesting facts, the first thing is, so in the film, Timothy plays King Henry, who's an Englishman, because he's the King of England. And Robert Pattinson plays the Prince of France. But now get this, so in real life, Robert Pattinson is English and Timothy is French. So they got a Frenchman to play the English king and they got an Englishman to play the French prince.
That makes so much sense.
But they both did very well.
Hey, if someone suits the role, they suit the role.
Yeah. Ryan, I loved Robert Pattinson. I thought he did. You
Yeah.
hated him. And the director literally said his job in the film was to just be the biggest French jerk of the 1400s.
And he was.
And he was, you hate him. You're like, this guy. But also at the same time, you're like, I was like, at first I was shocked. I was like, that's Robert Pattinson. And then he acted, I was like, he's horrible, but he's doing a brilliant job at being horrible. I thought his acting was very, very good.
Yeah, I think from the time that he came on, I was like, wow. He's like, here's to your little victory.
No, it was very, for me it was very good. Like all through, the acting, brilliant. Like the actors really, they brought the weight of the scenes. And I know you were mentioning, it felt like the whole time, like there was just like weight upon it. Especially Timothy, who played King Henry.
Yes.
You just felt for the guy. You were like, this dude, like imagine, like he brought across the
Yep.
pressures of being a king.
For me, when they went into battle, all right, so when I watched it, I watched, because I saw, okay, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. So I had actually forgotten that I needed to watch. I was like, oh yeah, I need to watch this for tomorrow, for the filming, right, like now, today, right? So I was like, okay, I look at the time, I'm like, all right, I'm going to need to break this thing up. So I'll do the same thing that Sashi did. So I watched an hour and 20 minutes, and then I watched an hour the next morning. And the first hour and 20 minutes was like, okay. And that's fine because it's an introduction. It's not boring. It's not weird or anything like that. Just, I think if you watch it for yourself, you'll understand.
Yeah.
And then the next morning when I started watching, it was like straight into the action. And like, I felt like I wanted to, like my heart was just going to like jump out because I was like, I hate this. I hate movies like this. Like not really hate this movie. It's just like, it really grips you like for real. And with the king, like the whole time, I'm like, why does the king have to go to war? Why does he have to be there? Like,
But that's what made them gangster.
Yeah.
I was like, these were real men. Now
king.
these days, these leaders sit in their big offices and
Right?
send off other people's children to go fight their battles for them.
yeah.
Not
And
those
then,
days.
Did you notice the French king is sitting back with a little bit of sun?
Yeah.
He wants to live.
But I suppose he did send his son.
Yeah, but still.
But that was gangster when I was like, yes, and he's in the front. There's
Yeah.
no protection.
Yeah.
The other generals are all behind. No, I was like, this guy. Yeah.
Just the way the whole thing planned out
Yeah.
and played out, and I think what I like the most. So to speak about storyline, obviously, so you have this king, and as a king now, obviously he's introduced as someone else, and then he becomes someone else because now he has to, and obviously this person, so you're like, this guy, does he have the capability? And then like he becomes this person, and then towards the end, like obviously for a king, he needs the biggest thing is that he needs a companion, someone he can trust. All right, and that's a big thing in the movie because if you watch the movie, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. And I just found the way that the story played out was really, really excellent. Because obviously, at some point, one of his close companions, let's just say, are no longer there. You don't know why. I'm not going to tell you why he's no longer there. And I don't know how you felt, but another character that came in, I felt like this person was like his new trusted advisor type of thing,
definitely.
which really closed off the story quite well for me.
Gave you closure.
Yeah, because it's like yesterday, and I'm like, but now this guy's gone,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, flip, man, this guy's alone again. Look at him, like you feel sorry for him,
Right.
Because like literally, if you've ever seen and I find it true to history that if you look at a lot of pictures of like kings and queens, I think that because of the immense now I'm talking from opinion. But you see them, they're under, obviously, a person like that would be under immense pressure. Now, it's crazy because some kings were anointed king at the age of like 14.
Right. And he was also young when he became king. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you can just see, whenever you see them, they're there's no joy, there's no happiness. They just got this long face, and it looks like it's so painful to watch, just the way they're sitting there and stuff like that. And so it's like he gets his companion, and then it's quite interesting how his companion's composure throughout the film. Whenever you see him, like this guy's supposed to be like the what? Like the general.
He's right, yeah.
Yeah, like the general. You know, he's supposed to, oh man, let's go out. We're gonna do this, and he's just.
Now so the companion Ryan is talking about, he was his name's John in the film. He was the writer.
Yes.
So when you watch the movie, the guy that plays John, he actually wrote the script.
It was quite interesting when Sashi told me that. I was like, what? Seriously?
And you like him. I liked him.
You do. Yeah. You do.
I was so glad when you went and got him. I was like, yes.
I'm like waiting. I'm like, when is this? Why is
You're
this
like,
guy
what happened to him?
And then you're waiting for him to also have his moment in the film, because you know that they're going to go into not war. They're going to go into a battle.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out his moment, and you're like, yes. And then the things are happening according, and you're like, yes. Yeah.
And you trust him. You're like,
exactly.
Go listen to him.
And then he's like, I'll go in front. I'm like, yep, that's it. And then the stuff, it was really, really, like these are the films that I enjoy because they are unpredictable. I hate predictable films.
No, this was very...
Because I sit there, I get bored. I'm like, yep, okay, I'm just going to go to bed now.
You didn't know what was going to happen next.
Exactly.
And so I know you said the same. So there's a specific battle that takes place. Now it's an historical battle, and it actually did happen. So that the battle that you watch in the movie actually is historically correct. But the anxiety that I felt... I was like freaking out. Like, you know, when you're sitting there and you're just like, oh my gosh, why did it go home? Don't do, like, and you can't stop the movie because then you're just going to sit there and be like, but you know, when you feel like your heart's beating like a million beats per second.
That's exactly what it was.
And you're just like, flip. Like, the emotion that it evoked in me was crazy.
I watched this film at 6:30, 7:45-ish in the morning. And, can I just comment on the cinematography? So there was a moment in the battle where there's like a slow-mo scene. And I don't know, there's one or two things that I saw, because within battle, because of the camera movement, there's a lot of motion blur within your background items, you know? And so there's almost like chaos because there's a lot of camera changes, there's stuff happening. Then it gets to like the slow-mo part. And I don't know if you noticed, like there was just this great amount of depth and there was no motion blur. And so it was almost just this like clarity within the battle. And I was like, oh my word, what is going on? This is so cool, because it's like your heart's already going, and you're like, no, don't die. Watch him. Dude, look behind you. Why aren't you looking behind you? And then it hits the slow motion part and you're like, okay, all right, I know exactly what's going on now. And I think from there onwards, I was just like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. And then like, what I was hoping was not going to happen, because at that point I'm already so full of type of thing. I'm like, please don't let it get more intense than this. And it actually didn't.
Yeah, luckily, because we would have all had heart attacks and died.
Everything had happened, and the best part, he's like, all on me, and then he goes out.
How was that speech?
Right, and then I stand up, I jump in, I'm like, yes,
like, let's go.
Go, yeah, I'm with you.
Do you know? So he screams. So the King Henry V, before they go into battle, gives a speech. And now that I think is actually from the Shakespeare play. So they took that, but it's a beautiful speech. It's like, yes, give them that speech that's going to help them to go into battle. But he screamed it. He like.
Yeah, I was also like, ow.
Yes,
ow,
do you know
ow.
They did that probably 12 or 15. He said between 12 to 15 times. They took 12 to 15 takes. And he had to stand there screaming his lungs out and... but it was amazing.
At least they didn't have to do any ADR, you know.
Right.
Just loud enough, so they just get a mic like.
And I liked how he walked, because normally like those battle speeches, they stay in the front and they shout at the people. He like walked into he was like with the guys, and then the speech where he said like England is the space between. It was brilliant. That was brilliant. That was one of.
I was like, we're gonna do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that was so good. Now talking about that battle scene, right? So. They had to film that battle scene within 2 weeks. So they filmed it within 2 weeks. They had 300 men and 80 horses in a field in Hungary. So they filmed, I think, in England and Hungary. Those were their two locations. To achieve a muddy battlefield, because that's what the whole battle was about, it was raining, which caused a lot of mud. The crew would let horses run over it, but the weather was so hot that the mud kept drying up between takes. So they moved the battle to the left, or the battlefield to the left, and did the same process again. How crazy is that?
Sure, that's intense. Hey?
So it was so hot and it was muddy. Hey, it was like seriously, it was like
Yeah.
It was deep mud. In fact, Joel Edgerton, who plays John, at one point, he in an interview said at one point he actually thought he could have died. Because what happened was he was stuck in the mud and he was sinking in deeper, and guys were just falling on top of him because that's obviously the scene. And at one point he literally in his brain was like, am I going to die in a movie set? And then he still said, people are like, well, at least you died doing something you love. He's like, no, I don't want to die in a movie set. Who wants to die? No one should die in a movie set.
I wonder if they used that part. So, okay, question. You see, I can't spoil alert. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question after this because I got a question about this guy.
But yeah, that was the fact that it, like when you watch the film, you'll see how muddy it was, and the fact that it was hot and like that's some hectic.
Hot and muddy.
Serious, like the things they go through just to bring through like mud is intense. And then also, so I mentioned earlier there was a slip that made me laugh. So that slip was particularly done by Robert Pattinson's character. Now apparently he did a take with where he slipped. And then a stuntman also did the scene, but the director preferred Robert Pattinson's take, and it actually turned out better. So they actually went with his take and not the stuntman's take for that.
Oh,
so that
really?
was Robert Pattinson slipping around in the mud there, which made me laugh.
Yeah, I thought the king was finished at that point. I'm like, no, dude, this is not one of those times.
Right? I was like, no, because before he goes and says to him, let's fight this on man by man.
I'm like, no.
Leave the other. Then he comes and now because things are happening, he's like, fine, take me on. I'm like, no, he told you down, don't take it. And then he was taking him on. I was like, seriously, you want to take him on? And then, it was. Yeah,
I was also like, no, dude, no.
But can I just say, this film is quite gory. So if you have a weak stomach or you don't like seeing heads,
you found it gory.
It wasn't gory for me. It was just very visual in.
Look,
so,
wait, let's talk about that. So there were the so heads get chopped off. Guys.
Yes, heads get chopped off.
It's medieval times.
Yeah, makes sense.
I laughed at that.
What?
I was just like, come on, you can do it. I don't know.
You know what shocked me was the fact that the king sat and watched. Because I was like, yes,
I was also like, what? And everyone's watching.
Yeah, people just stood there and watched.
Really, guys? I just thought that they could have done better CG-wise with that.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know. It was like a cucumber.
But okay, Ryan, have you ever seen a head being chopped off in real life?
Yeah, but not many.
What?
Not many people have seen. No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Not many people have. But it's just I think I would just loosen it up a little bit.
What if you were the CG artist on that? Would you be willing to go and research and watch footage of people having their head chopped off?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be willing to do that.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let me put it this way. I would look, because look, for me, if I do something CG, if I have to put in something CG into a movie, I have to convince myself. That's the rule that I play. And when I look at that, I'm like, I don't know if I'm convinced.
What if that person was convinced,
I don't know. Though? Can I ask a question? Any of our viewers, you can comment on our Facebook, our Twitter, Instagram, whatever, all of our pages. Okay, do you think that when they cut off someone's head, do you think it comes clean off like that? It's like a cucumber. Clean cut. Like, I want you to think about this. There's a spinal cord there. There's
but the blade. Organ. Do you know how sharp those blades are?
Surely when it comes off, it's not... I don't know. I just something... I would do something just to give it a bit more life.
What do you mean? What's something?
And now we're talking about cutting heads off. I don't know. This is just...
yeah, this is a bit weird.
Yeah.
But what do you mean, like...
I don't know.
So what, you'd make it like they have to do it a couple of times before...
Like, and then it like sort of comes off, but maybe it's like just a bit hanging on something.
Right.
And then again. What? You see?
No!
You see your reaction right now.
No, okay. But I was still going, to
But I suppose at the same time, it's not that... I suppose you don't want to put too much focus on that. So
and also it was a very quick shot. That. Like, they didn't keep it on. It was literally like... I didn't expect to see that much, though. I was like, sure.
No,
they actually shot... Because normally, you know... They
cut away the king and you kuduk. Yeah, and then
yes.
back and you just see a body laying there.
Yeah.
Like the feet or something.
Or you see the
like
person's face like...
and the kids in
that
the woods.
Was,
and but the way that the cinematography played out, because
it was brilliant.
You don't see what he's got until later on.
But you know what he's got.
I don't know. I was just what it is. What is it? What is it? But you know when the kids are walking, I'm like, dude, who lets their kids out like in the woods?
Are you just
I'm like,
oh,
come on.
Man.
and then the first kid, then the second kid, and then the third kid, the smallest one, and you're like, no, dude. But I mean, that's real to time. I mean,
No,
like I
it
said,
is. They were
medieval
brutal.
times. That's what happened. So it's good.
Sure. Can I just say though, I must be honest, after watching this film, and I don't know, I'm basing it on the film, but if King Henry V was like he was portrayed in this film, I respect him so much because he was such a brilliant leader. Like he cared about people. Like, you know how some kings, for them, men dying is just men dying. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like, oh, well, I've got a whole million left, so let's just kill them type of thing. Like, he wasn't like that. He cared for every single man. Like, for him,
It was different, yeah.
He'd rather go and fight man on man and spare his army than allow men to die uselessly. And I thought that was very good. The other thing I also really enjoyed was the message of when he goes to see the French king, and the French king says to him, as a king, all disputes come out of family affairs. Which is so true, because if you look at it, like, there was a dispute between the English royal family in amongst the family itself, because I think he had a very bad relationship with his father, and some of his decisions, I think, were affected because of that relationship. And then also a lot of the Europeans, their monarchies intermarried. So in this film, you see it, and it's all throughout. Like, even now, the current king, what's his name again? The queen's husband. Now his name's gone. Charles. No, it's not Charles. Charles's
husband.
father. His name is gone. I can't remember it now. But he's actually Greek. He's got Greek descent. He's from the Greek royal family. So even today, the current monarchy, there's intermarriage. But just the fact how the French king said, as kings and queens, we get our countries involved in battles because of family disputes. Which I was like, sure, that's true. Actually, flip.
Wow.
Like, it's all like. It all comes down to family. I think that's what he was trying to say, that at the end of the day, it's a kingdom, whatever. But at the end of the day, every single person, family is very important to them, and you're defined by family, and a lot of decisions will be affected by family. So it's kind of a thing of you fight for family or against family but I thought that was also, that is very true.
What happens at home affects your work.
Or kingdom of that matter.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But if you haven't watched this film, please go watch this film.
It's really, really good.
It's brilliant.
In
fact, I think it's one of my favorite films of 2020. My other films were Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah, I think that was my... This one could... But Ford versus Ferrari was also good. Ryan, how would you rate this film?
This film? Sure. Are we going to start doing ratings now, yeah?
As in, like, out of your favorite...
Do you get 5 stars or 10 stars?
This makes it onto my favorite movie list.
Yeah, it definitely does, eh?
And it's somewhere there at the top.
It does better. It does better than Arrival.
Yes, it definitely does.
It does better than
Ryan
Arrival.
agrees. I said to Ryan, Ryan was like, I don't think I'm going to agree with you. And no, it does do better than Arrival.
It does better than Arrival.
Does it do better than 1917 for you? For me, it personally does. 1917 was brilliant, but this one does do better for me.
I don't know. I'm actually stuck there. I'd put them both on the same sort of. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the achievement, the storyline, and the way that I felt throughout the whole film, and it was very similar.
Similar, yeah. For me, this film and Ford versus Ferrari are like there, like that same feeling. It's one of my...
Let's say we put this film a little bit ahead of 1917, purely on the base that there are twists.
Yeah, the storyline.
Yeah, so it catches you. I love twists in movies. Movies, if you have a twist... You know, I was watching a series the other night. I started watching a series, and I was just like, man, I hate series. It's all the same thing.
Yes, because they have to keep it going.
There's something that catches you, and you want to find out what happened.
And then they only tell you in
and it never gets there. Yeah, and it never gets there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch
That's
another
why
series.
I like movies.
Yeah.
That's why, because movies, it gets there, because they're not trying to keep you going for now 6 seasons.
Right?
Yeah. But I have been watching more series, I must be honest.
And by the time that they break to the truth, it's so soft. You're just like...
I think that's why Stranger Things was good. Because with Stranger Things, in each season, they solved that one thing.
Yeah.
And then when you started the next season, they brought up something else, but it was still going with that original theme. But now you felt... I think the term is closure, and this movie had closure. Like, that's the problem with most Netflix films. There's no closure. You get to the end and you're like, ha! This film, you got to the end, you're like, huh.
Well, what a sad story.
There was closure to
Yeah.
it. Like Stranger Things, you get to the end of a season, there's closure. You want to find out something new,
Yeah.
but it's something new. It's not something that you've been waiting since season 1 to find out.
And what I like about Stranger Things, now that we go to Stranger Things, is how slowly it ramps up.
Yes.
Because you enjoy the first episode, second episode, good, third episode, fourth episode, there's a problem, fifth
Like-
episode. By the time you get to the middle, there's like war.
Which is like this movie.
Yeah.
You know what it is, Ryan? That's storyline. That's purely. I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what makes and breaks your movie still goes down to storyline. Like your storyline has to be, and it has to the way your different characters interlink and the amount of plots that you have within your storyline, and definitely the climax, and then the resolution and all of those things. They have to be tight. They have
Yeah.
to be proper. They have to. Yeah. It's
Well, didn't you find with Henry V, right? Didn't you find with Henry V, whenever you saw him like distressed, you'd be like, dude, come on, smile, man, don't worry. You almost want to like tap him on the leg, dude, what's wrong?
It's okay, man,
Come
you're doing
talk to me
okay."
about your problems, yeah, because they took time getting you into your characters. Yes, it was
Yeah.
a 2 hour and 20-minute film, but every minute was worth it.
No, it was
And
worth it.
by the time you get to battle, you like, you feel like this dude is family, man.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, after the battle, please come past and have a cup of coffee with me. We need to
Please.
discuss this because I didn't like, can we try and get you, at least, I don't know, taller horse or something, or can we have a spare horse on the side there?
Can we talk about the haircuts for just 1 second?
Okay, I liked his hair in the beginning. I was like, yeah, dude, you're rocking that hairstyle.
Isn't it called? What's it called?
I was like,
A-
yeah.
It's not a. It's a bowl cut, I think.
But then, yes, then he had his hair cut after he was like anointed.
Yes.
And I was like, yep, there you
But
go.
apparently, the first time because someone walked in with the haircuts. I think they did it on some, I don't know, like an extra or something to almost like test it out. And apparently, when the guy walked into the room, Timothy literally he couldn't help his reaction. Like he was like, for like a split second, and the director I think saw his like shock for like a split second because. What were they thinking in those days, man? Like, and they all had it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Eh?
It was, was it called a bowl cut? I feel like it was, but it wasn't. But it definitely, it was one heck of an interesting hairstyle.
What if
Ryan,
it-
would you ever cut your hair like that?
No. I don't think anybody would cut their hair like that. Unless they were trying to bring it into fashion, but it would take someone really famous.
It is a bowl cut.
Mm.
So it's where you almost look like you have a bowl on top of your head because they shave everything up until just on top of your ear, and then they kind of
Just put a bowl and they round.
But I suppose it was very true to the time.
That time, yeah.
But also, apparently, there's only one photo of King Henry V where he has a bowl cut.
Yes.
There's only one.
In fact, I think I saw a painting. I was watching the history of how true, the comparisons. And I think I saw a photo, and that the photo, the face and stuff like that looks similar to this
Timothy,
guy.
yeah.
I was like,
Sure.
look at that.
they
Wow,
did
what do you
well.
know?
Yeah. So yeah, that is The King. Brilliant movie. Brilliant. Stunning.
Really good.
Exceptional.
Mm-hmm. Standing out.
Yes, we are just giving it a moment of silence for how good it is.
I'm just joking. I muted the mics.
Oh, wow.
I didn't.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to go and check out our social media pages, we are on social media. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram.
That's right.
We are on Facebook. And we're even on a new set of social media pages. Yes, new social media. So go download some more social media if you're that type of person.
If you're social.
Huh?
If you are social.
If you're social, yes. So we are on Gab, we are on Parler, we are on Reddit, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then our website is www.activefm.co.za.
And of course, go check us out on YouTube.
Yes.
Because this is the movie show that shows, and there's the movie show that shows. You can go and search for the channel on on YouTube called Active TV, and then you look for the playlist called The Movie Show. And before you go there, just check out all the other playlists that are there because we've got a lot of stuff there also that's really, really awesome. Maybe watch the movie show, and then afterwards you can go check out all the other things.
Yeah.
Or you can go check out all the other things and then watch the movie show. It's up to you. And subscribe. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And also you can like it. The reason why we want subscribers is because when a new show goes up, you get notified because that's what subscribers get. Benefits.
Right.
We let you know that we have put up a new show.
Yes, we keep you involved. We
Exactly.
keep you up to date.
And unless you don't want part of that, well then fine, don't subscribe. But then you'll be left in the dark.
Right. The dark. And also, we are on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and iTunes. Yes. No, Spotify. I'm like, iTunes is Apple Podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And there are a whole lot of other Active FM shows that are absolutely amazing. Go check them out. But this is the movie show.
On Active FM.
Signing out.
With me, Ryan.
And me, Sash. Peace out.
Till next week.
I love Active FM.
Christ music is hot music.
Our music at Active FM is lit.
Going up like a mansion. I ain't got no reason. Tell them peel up. Everybody on the dance floor now. Christ is the one we lift our hands for now.
You're tuned in to Active FM.